Alright guys, so welcome to the LeetCode question today. So 186, reverse words in the string. Given character array S, reverse the order of words. A word is defined as a sequence of non-space characters. The word in S will be separated by a single space. Your code must so solve the problem in place. Okay? So i.e., without allocating extra space. For example, the sky is blue. What's the output? Blue is sky the, right? Pretty straightforward. The second example is S is A and reverse is also A. There's only one single characters and one single element in this list. Okay, so there are like two tricky parts for this question. First is in place, definitely, because we cannot create, that means we cannot create a new list, something like that. We can only use some, big of one kind of storage. And also okay, so actually there's another type of question. So let's see. Let's say if the is one single element, not like three separate elements in a input S, then if that's the case, we know that it's gonna be way easier to reverse, right? We just reverse that's the blue directly, right? However, this case is a little bit trickier. So the is not it's not the entire thing itself. It's separated by three elements. All right. So what should we do? Well, it turns out that's actually we are gonna using the same idea. It's exactly the same idea. So we all know. So actually, I'll write what is a reverse function, but the high level idea is still, firstly, why not we reverse the entire thing, right? So that's gonna be EULB space SI space YKS space EHT. So notice what's gonna happen here is the word blue, although it's reversed, is at the first place, and the second one is SI, which is gonna be SIS. And the third one is YKS, and the last one is EHT actually. So after doing this step, it's getting more straightforward. So we only need to reverse each word itself. All right. Okay, so it's actually not so hard, right? So, but in the beginning, we still need to define a thing called reverse, which gonna makes our life way easier. So, what's the input? Left, right index, right? And keep in mind should be in place. So what we should do here is S at left and S at right is gonna be S at right and S at left. Okay, so that's gonna be switching the letters in place, and left has to be updated as well as right. Okay, so that's the first thing. We need to define reverse, right? Okay, so there are gonna be the next step. So next step is reverse the entire input S, and the next part is gonna reverse each words, right? Okay, so reverse the entire input S. What should we do? So while no, actually just need to call this reverse. What is left is 0, right is length of S minus 1. Okay, so we call this function, we get a reversed string S. The second step, it refers each word. So for it reverse each word, it's gonna be a little bit cautious here because what's the condition I mean, how do we determine if we just pass a word? By space, right? So space is a indicator, is an indicator, so we need to use space as an indicator. Keep that thing in mind. So as always, it has to be a iteration. So for I in range, length of s plus one. Why? Because if we don't do plus one, okay, let's say we don't do plus one, then at the last one, as we said, space indicator, right? So that means for the last one, there's no space. Then how should we know? And how do we automatically update the last one, right? Well, one way is to update the space. I mean, to add a space, or let's say append the space after the t, of course, because it was still not reversed at that time. So it's after t, there's going to be a space. And that will work. So what we only need to do is to delete that space after everything is done. But what about other ways? So another way is just to add one more. But keep in mind that we need to just have one more condition. So if s, or what's the one more condition? If I is gonna be length of s, we know if I is equal to length of s, we know we are reaching to the end. And or what's the other condition? Space, right? So s at I is space, then we do reverse, right? Reverse. Okay, so what's the index of the left part? We know that the right part is pretty straightforward. It is I minus 1, because I is a space, so the right index is I minus 1. But what is the left part? So that's what we need to do to initialize left index is 0 in the beginning. So here it is still 0. So it's an initialized index. Okay, but after we're doing reverse, then we need to update the left part. The left index has to be what? Has to be I plus 1, because remember, space is I, right? So what's the left initial index for the next word? It's going to be a space, the like, I mean, the one after space. Okay, so that's actually everything we need here. Let's test. Wrong answer. Okay, why? So, okay. Well, the output is EHEYKS as I and that. Well, it's definitely not correct, right? It's definitely wrong. Why? Because we made a mistake here. So we have to have a while condition. So while left is less than right. That's actually a huge mistake here, because it doesn't make any sense if that's we don't have a while loop. Okay, let's try it now. Okay, accepted. Submit. Good. So accept as well. So what's the runtime and space? Okay, so I would say space is probably more straightforward in this part, because space is big O of 1. We only have like left, right, word, and the left index. Also, I as like a separate kind of storage. But for the runtime, it's gonna be a little bit tricky, because if you see, there's one for loop, right? And for each for loop, we call reverse, and reverse is another while loop. So you may say it's definitely a square, big O of n square. But turns out it's actually not, because we reverse the whole array once and then reverse each word in place. So although there is a nested loop, each character is processed at a constant number of time. So the overall time complexity is still big O of n. So yeah, it's a bit tricky to understand, but keep in mind that each character is processed a constant number of times because as we see, the first step is reverse this, the entire list. So this is a big O of n. The second step is we actually only reverse this and this and this and this, right? So it is not really nested, and for each um, for each like reverse, we on like for each letter we only do reverse once, right? It's not like we nest it and we reverse it like to somewhere and then reverse it back at somewhere. It's not the case. So for each letter, we only reverse it once. So that's why it is a big O of n for runtime. Okay, thank you so much.